of football over in England, which includes the FA Cup semi-finals. We've got a zinger to talk about once again. Who's going to go through to the final? We'll take a little look next. Today we look forward to the FA Cup semi-finals, which of course taking place this coming Easter weekend, and we'll get to that in just one second. If you knew where you've been, smash your subscribe and keep banging today. All things Rovers related, FA Cup related, world football related. We got it all here, boys. Under one roof. Of course, last weekend was a Bobby Bedazzler, of course, over in the Premier League with, of course, Manchester City locking horns against Liverpool. But this weekend they do it all again down at Wembley, of course, with the prize, of course, another Wembley date for the FA Cup final. Who's going to go through? Who's going to go home? We'll take a look at it, all of it, and of course, big shout out in just a second. Of course, big shout out to my VIPs, patrons, guys. Thank you for loving, of course, behind the scenes. You know who you are. But anyway, let's get into it. Of course, take a look at how we all got to the stage with, of course, recap of the quarter-finals. That's right. Of course, who, of course, got their asses handed to them on a plate, and who actually made it through in the end. Of course, a couple of championship sides were in it, but of course both of them crashed out at this stage, including Middlesbrough with a 2-0 loss at home to Chelsea. Called it, that's absolutely called it. Meanwhile, Crystal Palace 4-0 battering of Everton. Of course, Crystal Palace were playing great, Everton were doing shit, and of course they got themselves the respectable spanking that they deserve. Meanwhile, Southampton also got a bit of a spanking 4-1 loss to Manchester City. They go out, of course, Southampton out to Man City through, and of course Forest gave a game of themselves really against Liverpool. Of course, 1-0 win for Liverpool. As you would expect, Liverpool eventually going through. The quality did rise to the top. But again, credit to, of course, Middlesbrough, credit to Nottingham Forest for doing very, very well in the FA Cup to get to the quarterfinal stages this time around. But of course, that's that. Let's take a look at how you got. I got 4 there, if you just didn't notice. But so did these guys. Kevin, Tix on Tour, Hans Wurst, Jimmy Watton, Nicholas, Max Sangardi, Vincent Hong, Andy Dagg, Winky, Shepard and Shane O'Donnell with Daddy Cool, all picking up 4 as well. And a few guys picking up 3. So good picks all around. But one clanger here was that of Iman Hussein. He's not even in here. Of course, he gave up basically a chance to extend his lead at the top of the table, I believe, unless he's in there somewhere. 78 points for them. He remains on 78 points, closing the gap now with Shane O'Donnell, Hansworth as well, and the chasing pack. So it's made it very, very lively. But of course, in fact, when you look about it, there's 3 points left on the offering. There's only 3 points left. So realistically, it's between Iman Hussein and Shane O'Donnell to win the title of the first ever FA Cup Prediction League. Wow, we are at this stage of the season, of course, as we try to keep it going. But of course, appreciate the love. We are going to keep on going and right to the bitter end. And again, there might be a Stewart's inquiry, a VAR request as well to make sure there's no doubles in here, in, of course, the grand scheme of things. But that's, of course, the state of play there. Of course, if you want to get involved with the semi-finals, get involved here. Cut your FA Cup. It is free to enter. Get your name in lights. Of course, we'll see who goes on to kick ass next week. So these are the games. Of course, and a couple of zingers indeed. We have a Northwest crunch clash there between Manchester City and Liverpool, of course, and a Chelsea against Crystal Palace. All London affair right there. Both of these games take place at Wembley. We kick it off with the zinger, which of course is Manchester City up against Liverpool once again. Of course, now these two sides fresh off the bat of playing each other last weekend over at the Etihad. It was a 2-2 draw then. They'll be playing each other for the 58th time since 1983. Of course, the previous results, 13 of them gone in favour of Manchester City, 26 wins have gone for Liverpool, and 18 draws. Of course, Liverpool 92% form for them, winning 5 of the last 6. Of course, heading into this game, meanwhile Man City 75% form, winning 3 and drawing 3 of the last 6. Of course, Manchester City's biggest win over Liverpool was a 5-0 win. The biggest win the other way was a 6-0 win for Liverpool. Of course, in fact, Liverpool scored 99 goals compared to Manchester City's 83 over the course of those 57 games. Works out around about 1.46 goals game ratio compared to Liverpool's 1.74 games against ratio as well. So back-to-back 2-2 draws, of course, this season in the Premier League. Of course, one was at Anfield, one was, of course, at Manchester City, but this game will be at a neutral venue over at Wembley. Of course, Liverpool and City are both in action in Champions League and both taking place on the same day, which of course will be the 13th, which will probably be today when this video comes out. I might actually record this on the 12th. But of course, Atletico will take on Manchester City in Spain, with of course Liverpool hosting Benfica over at Anfield. And again, Manchester City and Liverpool are both expected to win those games. Of course, just imagine if they were to get through, of course, in that Champions League encounter and set up eventually a final once again. So not only will they be competing for the Premier League, the FA Cup in a way, and also in the Champions League, it would be quite spicy. Of course, a cracking way to end the season. Of course, take a look at the odds then, shall we? We've got Manchester City 5-4 with the victory 23-10. Is your Liverpool on this one? 11-5. Is your draw over 90 minutes? Remember, that's over 90 minutes. Of course, it has to be decided today, but this is just the odds for the 90 minutes. It's quite tight between these two sides. Of course, we saw it last weekend. Manchester City were good. Liverpool, of course, responded both. Of course, both times coming back from a goals deficit to get themselves back into the game. It's going to be tight, and of course I do wear in this fight I do wear a sort of red tinted glasses on this one, so I'm going to go with Liverpool here, a 2-1 win for them over Manchester City to get through to a final, of course, where it could be an all German managers in the dugout, or could it be of course a chance for a former gunner to get the better of Klopp in the dugout. We'll take a look at that in a minute, of course. Next, of course, is Chelsea up against Crystal Palace in the All London Affair. Again, all taking place in London, so I do anticipate a bit of a hotly anticipated match, of course, with fans not having to travel that far. But anyway, these two sides play each other, according to my eyes, since around about 1994, 25 times. I've got 20 wins for Chelsea, 4 wins for Crystal Palace, and 1 draw as well. Crystal Palace, though, unbeaten. In fact, just 1 defeat the past 6 and 75% form heading into this game. Meanwhile, Chelsea have just 1 win, and that's 3 for them, 67% form heading into this game. Of course, Crystal Palace, last time around, picked up a 3-0 loss against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. That was on match day number 1, of course, back in August, with, of course, Chelsea also winning the reverse fixture at Selhurst Park back in February 2022 as well. Meanwhile, coming at you, though, the biggest win for Crystal Palace over Chelsea was a 2-1 win. The biggest win there was a 4-0 win, of course, for Chelsea as well. Chelsea scored 52 goals compared to Crystal Palace 17 over the course of those 25 games. Works out around about 2.08 goals game ratio compared to the 0.68 goals game ratio for Crystal Palace. Coming at you, though, let's take a look. Chelsea, of course, 6-0 win over Southampton, of course, and also taking on Real Madrid this week, which, of course, could be a bit of a damp squib for them. Of course, busy schedule over in Spain as well. They're actually taking place today, so by the time this video goes out, we'll know if actually Chelsea have won that game. Of course, are they going to be happy about it? Are they going to be hungover? Are they going to be down in the doldrums? Of course, that will have possibly a domino effect for this game. And I am bearing that in mind. I've got my own predictions already out there for that game, and if you want to find out those, make sure you check that out as well under the Champions League predictions. But, of course, bearing in mind the result of that game, of course, it could have a domino effect for this game, of course. Crystal Palace, though, looking forward to this game as well, down at London, at Wembley as well. So 7-4 on is your Chelsea, 3-1 is your draw on this one, 5-1 is your away win. It's Crystal Palace. Again, it is over 90 minutes, of course, for this one. The odds, again, we'll take a look at the odds to make it through maybe in just a second. But, of course, 7-4 on is your Chelsea, red hot favourites by the bookies odds. Klopp will be, in my eyes, waiting in the final, but will they be joined by Thomas Tuchel or will it be Patrick Vieira? I believe, unfortunately, I'd love to see Patrick Vieira do it, but I think Chelsea will nick it with a 2-0 win for them to take it to the house and, of course, meet Liverpool in the final. Wow, that's, of course, my take on it. I don't think any of the games will go past 90 minutes, even though the Liverpool-Manchester City game has the potential to do that as well. So the odds, let's take a look at the odds right here, right now, to lift the trophy. Of course, Crystal Palace are 14-1 to lift the trophy, to go the distance on this one. Liverpool actually third favourites, 9-4 to lift it up. Of course, Chelsea are second favourites, 2-1, with, of course, Manchester City 6-4 to go the distance. That's, of course, the odds from the bookies. Make sure you get your own picks as well using the link, /FA Cup. And that is pretty much it, short and sweet, just like that, guys. Make sure you, of course, you hit the video with a thumbs up, and, of course, smash your subscribe if you're new. Check out the links down below, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and also Patreon if you want to support the channel in another way. All the stuff is in the description. But until then, guys, we're done right now. Of course, good luck to your team if it's still in there. If not, I'd love to see Klopp make it to the final up against Patrick Vieira, if I could pick a dream one. But, of course, that's just my take. But until then, dudes, we're done right now.